Today we're doing volume 2 of my collection, so stay tuned. Okay, so I'm actually standing behind the camera here, but this will be volume 2 of my collection. Now there's a lot of stuff that's changed. So I mean, it's kind of the same as it was last year, but there's some stuff that's changed around, and I'll point it out as I go through them. Also, I'm going to show you my video game stuff I got over here too. Okay, so I got to so that I didn't show you that last year because I didn't have it finished, but I got it mostly finished over here now, so I'll show you that once I get done with all this stuff here. So we'll start with my Star Wars stuff there, and then work my way around to this stuff like we did last time. Okay, so I'm going to start at the very bottom down here at the floor. So here is, like I think I've done a show this last year, so there was a General Grievous ship here. I moved it because it was sticking out the way, and I was supposed to end up stepping on it because it was sticking way out where I walk here, so I ended up storing it up. But see, there's the vintage speeder, that old lunchbox, some pop bottles and stuff. This was actually turned sideways for some reason. Here we go. I don't know how that got sideways, but as you see, there's some more miscellaneous things here. It's really dusty and it does all this stuff, but that's the most annoying Star Wars character, a 12-inch Jar Jar. I got 3 Star Wars white, the ears are missing. But there's a talking Darth Vader figure, which is also really dusty. A lot of this stuff's dusty. I really need to dust this stuff, but there's this thing, I remember what it's called, but Yoda on one side and Darth Vader on the other there. And there's that box, which is, the figure's not, there's actually an incomplete one in there, but the actual figure itself actually up here. I'll show you in a minute, but it's a collector series on a solo box. More pop vinyls. There's a vintage R2D2, 12-inch one. The legs are missing, but the plans are actually still in the back, so that's pretty neat. I just need the legs. There's an old magazine back there too. There's some bigger figures by Jack Pacific there, and some smaller ones. Some more just miscellaneous items down here at the bottom. There's a Mitch stew bag with extra Stormtrooper I got in there. I put a yellow one in there since it looks more like the Stormtroopers and Lego stuff there. So here's my Black Series. As you can see, there's some new ones. I showed you a video I did the other day. There's the Stranger and Dagan Gera, which I just recently added, which looks really cool. Now if I get the Ghost Arm Dagan Gera, that would look cool. I'll display the single arm with the double blade, and then if I get the Ghost Arm one, I'll have him holding 2 of them. That'd be really cool on display. So that is kind of just random prequel, sequel trilogy stuff. There you see other things. There's this is all original trilogy type stuff here, because there's Lando, Stormtrooper disguise. When I filmed that short for Dagan Gera, you can see a Boba Fett helmet there too, off to the side. I don't have more to put it, that's why it's just kind of stuck in the closet right there. But when I filmed the short for Dagan Gera down there, I took the helmet off the Stormtrooper disguise. Luke Skywalker had him holding it and recreate that scene from the game, which was pretty cool. And just there's also that Nick Mayfield figure. Like I said, vintage, or I mean original trilogy inspired stuff. So going up, this is all Mandalorians stuff right here. There's 2 Power Force 2 line Boba Fett's, and everything Mandalorian right here. There's that awesome Moff Gideon, which is one of my favorites. There's also another Boba Fett here. This is the Throne Room Boba Fett, which is actually more the Morak Boba Fett. I think they're making a proper book of Boba Fett in the Black Series, but I got this one. I may end up getting that one later, but there's that figure there too. It's called Van. He's technically not a Mandalorian, but since he's wearing Boba Fett's armor, I decided to, put him there. It makes sense. But going up, there's some carded things. There's a Boba Fett keychain. There's a toy lightsaber. It was I think at Burger King or McDonald's. I can't remember which one. There's some old vintage catalog from the 70s, 80s. That very one of the fronts from the original from 77, I think. And there's a carded Yoda figure from the Clone Wars. It originally had a first edition thing with a sticker fell off because it was that old. There's some Power Force 2 stuff. There's a Boba Fett card. I think there's one down here too. I showed you earlier. I forgot, but there's the same one down there. But there's I reviewed that figure, the Grand Admiral Throne. There's I think I reviewed that too. The Lando. There's a Kanan. So there's General Grievous, which I showed in a short not too long ago. There's a carded Black Bar. I already had that figure loose, so that's why I didn't open that one. There are 2 things, which are called, damn it, I'm not kidding, that's what they're called. But there's another Death Trooper. I had the first edition that released in the red box a long time ago, so I ended up getting this one as a Christmas gift, so I never did open it, so since I already had one that's already open, so I just left it on the card. So on top here, this is all retro stuff, Mandalorian retro stuff. That's the IG-11, Quill, Grogu, the Child, the Mandalorian, Moff Gideon, Greef Karga, and Bo-Katan. Which Bo-Katan, I don't think I had her the last time I done this, so I got her a bit later. But, okay, so going down to the windowsill right here. Here is vintage, stuff. This Ewok thing right here is actually an eraser. But I'm not going to try erasing through that because it'd probably just come all to pieces. There's 12-inch Boba Fett, vintage version, 12-inch Luke Skywalker, the 8-inch Jawa. There's some small Ewoks there. Those two copper colored figures are actually astronaut toys from the 50s. So that's why I put them there, because they're pretty cool. Unfortunately, one of them fell off and snapped that out of the middle, so unfortunately that had happened, but that one still got the barrel on the gun. A lot of times you find these and the barrel snapped off those, so that's cool. But, this is a 12-inch Stormtrooper Skies Luke. There's a Han Solo one in that box I showed you earlier. So this is vintage stuff right here. There's all original 12 right there. As you can see, that C-3PO is really nice and shiny. So is that R2-D2. The R2-D2's got it's a rarer version with the extended antenna. The common version with the head didn't have anything in it. And then there's a little bit more rare version that had the antenna that came out. And then there's a really rare version that had the shooting lightsaber. That was really hard to find. But you see, there's like I said, Luke, Leia, Han Solo, Big Cat Han Solo. There's Chewbacca, the Tusken Raider, the Jawa, Darth Vader, Obi-Wan, the Death Star, Commander, Stormtrooper. All those are original 12, I believe. There's the Emperor, Ghost Anakin, which both of those are mail-aways. There's some other vintage ones. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but there's a lot more vintage ones there. Some older Lukes. There's vintage Yoda, which I think that's the wrong cloak on him. He should have like more color to that Power of the Force 2 in there, but see, it kind of bleeds into Power of the Force 2, as you can see. And not everybody's favorite line, but it is what it is. I do have some episode 1 figures, but I kind of ran out of room because I had to clean this out the other day to vacuum out some bugs we got in the windowsill. So when I put these back, I ran out of room. But so there's some Jawas there and everything. So also in the corner, I forgot, there's a vintage collection of Boba Fett, which I never did open that. It's actually the same figures as the other one. I'll go over here. I'll show you in just a minute. But there's a mail-away version there too, as you can see. Now this right here is, Saga collection, vintage collection, anything 3/4 inch. And you see that Boba Fett right there is the same one as that vintage collection when it came in that Fett Legacy 3-pack. So that's why I haven't opened that one. It's just slightly different color and everything. But so most of this is unchanged, except there's this Darth Maul right here, which came on a vehicle. The vehicle, he had that speeder thing somewhere in stores. I don't know where it's at exactly. But it's mostly the same. There's that Rebels Maul, which I think was back there. I ended up moving it to put something else back there, I think. But there's that newest one there, and Sister Marin, which I got for Christmas. Again, put her beside Maul, which is kind of cool because they're both on the same planet, so that kind of makes some sense there. But so that's pretty cool. Actually, when I came here to put her on the shelf, I actually had the space there. I didn't realize it was. I was like, that's a perfect spot to put her, so that's her right there. Okay, so now let's go over to my other stuff here. Okay, so this is my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff up here, and which this is mostly the same as last time, so kind of just go through here so it won't be so long, as you can see. And that one shredder I didn't actually have, actually. Found that some junk in the first order a long time ago. I forgot about, so I tried to put him there. So there's all the other stuff. There's some 2007 CGI movie stuff there as well. Some vintage stuff. Everything. Vintage Party Wagon, the 2007 Party Wagon, and the 2012 version. There's a jumbo early 2000s turtle carrying case. There's a NECA turtle. I can't remember which one that is. I think that may be Michelangelo, what that was supposed to be. I'm not sure. Now, NECA did make a 2012 Shredder and some other turtles, so I might get the Shredder first. I got these other two versions I can compare them to, so you may see a review of that soon. Okay, so now for my NECA stuff. Now, this shelf is extended. I think I extended it the last time I showed these because I had something that I'll explain in just a minute. But so you can see, here's my Predators. There's that Elder Bio helmet back there, put in the corner. It has a chain to handle the wall, but I stuck in the corner, so it looks cool back there. Some Kenner-inspired Predators back there. There's, I don't know if you can see them, but there's I keep trying to call him the Morton Joe Predator, the Spike Tail Predator. He looks like a Morton Joe Predator, but that's why I always call him that. But there's the Elder Predators and vintage Kenner ones. There's the vintage Spike Tail, the one I was talking about, the naked ones back there. There's the vintage, I keep trying to say Ghost Predator, Stalker Predator, you know, and the NECA one there beside each other. The Spike Tail Predator, my NECA one, has a leg problem. That's why I put him in the back, because he wants to kind of topple over because he's got loose legs, so that's why he's back there. So there's the Falconer Predator, a bunch of other ones, the classic looking one, the Serpent Hunter, which I reviewed recently. That Feral Predator, which is one of my favorites. There's some vintage Kenner aliens here, as you can see. There's my Xenomorphs. Now, the reason I had to move this shelf up, I can't remember if that Alien Resurrection Kenner one was back there. When I done this last time, I have to go back and look, but I had to move the shelf up because that alien is tall, and where I had the shelf originally, it was like just a hair going in. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, because it was like this much going in there, and I had to take everything off that top shelf and move that entire shelf up just to get that in there. Which I want to put that in there because it looks cool in there. But so it was all my Xenomorphs and everything. The concept one, the Big Chap. I think they made a new and pretty Big Chap. I mean, yeah, end up getting it later. But there's my red ones, everything. Red was kind of topped a little bit back there. It was like so. There's the two facehugger tubes. Here's my human characters from Aliens. There's three synthetics there: Ash, Bishop, and David. There's the Alien 3 Ripley. There's the Deacon back there, which is a very expensive figure nowadays. Well, you Tony Commando, some Ripley's, you know, there's Burt back there, some of my Marines. There's James Cameron. There's Kane back there. Now here's my Terminator stuff, and there's the Commando figure from, you know, the movie Commando, the Dutch, or not Dutch, I mean John Matrix. There's Sarah Connor. There's some more Terminators. There's Dutch back there and everything. A lot of Dutches. I have a lot of Arnolds here, as you can see. There's that older Cyberdyne Showdown Terminator with a minigun. And on the end here is my slasher stuff there. As you can see, there's a older McFarlane movie Maniacs, T-1000 back there too. So yeah, this is my NECA display. Okay, so here is my Master Universe stuff. And now if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love Master Universe. That's one of my favorite toy lines of all time. So I'm going to start here at the bottom, and then I'll show this at the top. So going here at the bottom, as you see, I got a lot of mini comics here. There's a Princess Power one there too, but there's a lot. Those three right there are three of the oldest mini comics that were made, some of the earliest ones. So you can see there's some other ones there, everything, some newer ones. And at the bottom here, there's that big Revelation Battle Cat from Masterverse. There's my vintage Battle Cat and vintage Panther. There's an extra Panther with an extra Battle on the Skeletor. And because I got one at the thrift store a long time ago, and I got one for my birthday a long time ago too. But as you can see, there is Stridor, and I think the other one's called Knight Rider. I believe, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. There's the Slime Pit with extra Prince Adam. I found a thrift store. I already had Prince Adam, but I seen that thrift store in a bag, some stuff like that. And I bought it because I think that'd go good in the Slime Pit. So I just stuck him in the Slime Pit, you know, just have a figure in it. So and it works pretty good. Now, I probably have to get some new slime for that eventually because that stuff's drying up. So you have to replace slime as often as it ages, it dries up. But there's an extra action in it. I don't know what that goes to, but there's those blind bag box things too. I have a bunch of those, but I only put two there because one of them's crooked. It's hard to get them in there right. But there's the mailboxes for the three movie figures. I'll show you here in just a minute. The Rebel He-Man, Dark Despot Skeletor, and God Skeletor. So I'll show you those figures up here in a minute. But okay, so going over, there's from the Slime Pit, there's Castle Grayskull. Unfortunately, I do not have the vintage Snake Mountain yet. I've been looking for one, but I just haven't found one yet that complete everything. It ain't so super expensive, so that's why I don't have one yet. You see, there's a Magic Constructs He-Man there. I got two of them up here somewhere too. And there's some McDonald's toys there, Battle Cat, Panther, and there's a pop vinyl of He-Man. I think the Battle Armor He-Man riding on Battle Cat, which It may be normal He-Man, I can't tell from in here. But, then there's Battle Armor. There's, Battle Armor He-Man, Battle Armor Skeletor, 2000X Battle Cat, Sky Sled, there's a He-Man Hot Wheels back there, and there's a, portfolio from the 80s. I also found a thrift store, which is pretty cool, and I display like that. I thought that was really neat when I found that. It made a really cool display on them back here. So going up to my figures, here as you can see, there is the Origins Panther, Origins Battle Cat. That's the Walmart exclusive flopped Panther. I didn't really buy the other ones. I got the flop version. I didn't see it to have the other one too, because I prefer the flop version anyway, because it's like the vintage one. There's some 2000X stuff back there. Samurai He-Man, which a lot of people hate, but I think they're actually remaking him in Origins or something, or Masterverse. I can't remember which one. But you see, there's a comic book back there. There's a record that came with vintage Point Dread. I don't have Point Dread, but I got that record. That's something my uncles that my grandmother found one time she gave me. He didn't want, so she never gave it to me. But you see, there's the Origins Man in Arms and a vintage Cardi Man in Arms I found at a antique place up in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee a long time ago. I got it for like $12. Pretty good deal. It was a little bit dinged up, but for I think it was originally 12, but I got it for like 50% off, so I got it for like $10. So for me, for $10, you can't beat that. Yeah, but see, there's some Origin stuff there, everything too, and kind of bleeding into some vintage stuff there, as you can see. Some classics. I don't have a whole lot of classics because classics are kind of expensive now, so I don't have a whole bunch, but I do have a pretty good selection there. As I have Anti-Tyranny He-Man. There's the other Anti-Tyranny He-Man, the Origins one. There's One Dar holding his loaf of bread, and there's the 3 movie figures I was talking about a minute ago. There's the Rebel Leader He-Man, the Dark Despot Skeletor, and the Gold God Skeletor, which is one of my favorites. I think it's incredible. So here's my vintage display here, as you can see. There's other Battle Armor Skeletor, Battle Armor He-Man. So I had the Battle Armor Skeletor, and I had those two as my main for a long time when I was a kid. And a little bit later in life, I ended up getting that Skeletor and that He-Man, getting the other 2 versions of those. I also ended up getting the Thunder Punch He-Man there too. As you can see, my normal Skeletor is the early Skeletor that has the orange face paint and the half boots, so that's pretty cool. There's some Horde members. There's Hordak, Dragstore, and Grizzlor. Working on getting the dark face one. That was a little bit expensive, so I don't have them yet, but one of these days maybe I will. There's both variants of Too Bad I got back there. There's Faker. As you can see, Faker is a very lazy figure, but a welcome addition to the line, one of my favorites. There's Beastman. Unfortunately, one of his shoulder pads is missing the strap, that's why it's not on him. So, the Merman back there, unfortunately, we had to fix him a long time ago because his rubber was rotten, his leg fell off, and then we put some rubber bands in there, and now those rubber bands had rotten because them had been in there for almost 20 years, so we're going to have to fix them again. So, unfortunately, stuff like that happens. There's Rat Lord with his neck extended out, Evil Man, Web Store. There's 2 crazy He-Man bootlegs back there. The great one's called Defender of the Planet Squazar, and that other one, I don't know what that is. It's like a Mexican wrestler. But, as you can see, going over here, this is some minifigures and Masterverse stuff, like Revelations. As you can see, these are all just little minifigures and stuff there. I did display them on these things, like I pointed out a minute ago, the boxes, but some of them didn't want to stay on the pegs because they wanted to fall off, so I ended up just putting them here because it was easier. There's more of those other blind bag ones. There's the Filmation style Beastman and the mini comic style Beastman. The Beastman was completely red in the mini comics. I prefer the Filmation one, but that's more what I think of when I think of Beastman. So there's also Masterverse Revelation stuff there. As you can see, the Skelly gun in the back here. There's Cyclops, which you can display him in his vintage form or Cult of the Motherboard, but I display him in his Cult of the Motherboard stuff because it kind of made him stand out on the shelf more. And if I ever get a second one, I'll probably display one the other way. But that's kind of the good thing about that. So there's He-Man, Skeletor, Andra, I think her name was Andra, I can't remember. And Tila, Evil Man, Orko, Scarecrow. I put all of them together because they're all in that same scene together in Subternia, so they all kind of go good together. There's a boxed King Grayskull and the one I have open. My Scareglow, I actually displayed him holding the Subterranean sword, and King Grayskull holding the Preternia sword, because, in the show, Scareglow had the Subterranean hat in his possession, so it looks good with him too. It looks good with him real good, so that's why I put it there with him. So there's a Hero back there, Ular, or Savage He-Man, which that figure is actually based on the way he appeared in the very first Minute comic, so I thought that was cool when they done that in the show. That's kind of neat. They kind of made a nod to that. But so there's also some McDonald's toys there too, as you can see. There's He-Man. I know I had He-Man there too. So that is my Masters Universe stuff. So let's go look at my video game stuff. Here's my Walking Dead / game stuff. Now, I have a lot of Walking Dead figures, but I don't have them on display right now because I don't have a place to put them at. I don't have to move them every time I get those DVDs out, so that's why they're not right here. But there's both of Daryl's motorcycles, though. And there's a gas can, the cross can with the Gravedigger Daryl's second version, and there's that. This is a Bud Light helmet, as you can see. And going across this cup right here, a friend of mine from high school had actually made me, so that's really cool. I can't remember because she makes those and sells them in a lot of different designs. I can't remember how much, like $20 or something. But there's a Call of Duty Mountain Dew can, a Cold War can. I kept one of those cans because of what was on it. See, there's a old Walking Dead counter from 2019, so that's way out of date now. But I printed that out when I was in high school. That's back at Daryl's Vest. I had stuck that in my binder or something one time. But, since now I ain't in high school no more, I decided to stick on the wall there. But there's a deck of Walking Dead playing cards. There's this thing up here, which is the Bicycle Girl, which is signed by the Brad Player, which is pretty neat. Going down here, there's all my seasons I got some of Fear the Walking Dead, not all of them, but some of them there, as you can see. I think I got the first 3. There's a few extra Walking Dead seasons there. The season 5 at the very bottom is actually unopened, too. But there's all my seasons of The Walking Dead from season 1 all the way to 11. It was one of my favorite TV shows when it came on, and it still is. I watched a lot of the spin-offs too that they do now. So going over here, here's that Pinkerton badge. You want to know why I got that? It's because the Pinkertons were a big part of Red Dead Redemption 2. So I bought a replica of the badge. This is exactly the way it looked in the games. I thought that was really cool. Okay, so there's all we got some PC games and stuff there. Some of the Windows over there. I'm not going to go through it for them because we'd be here forever. But you see, there's all my old Wii games, like the Lego Star Wars, Saga. I thought about playing the new one, Skywalker Saga, but it's been years since I played the Lego game. But I made start with that one, But going up there, there's Call of Duty Black Ops on the Wii, which I had a lot of fun playing on the Wii. It's a little difficult playing the Wii the way the controllers are, but it was pretty fun. I had all my Xbox games, ones I have that I actually bought physical copies of. Some of them you can, play without buying copies, digital stuff. I don't have to have a physical copy of the game, though. That's just what I have. But sometimes I buy them, I get them digitally, especially ones you can't really find now. But as you see, now Call of Duty, I always get a physical copy of those when they come out because I just like Call of Duty. But you see, there's a lot of them there. There's all the Black Ops. I was excited to play Black Ops again on the Xbox when I got it because, and that game didn't take me long to get through since I already played on the Wii a long time ago. I was able to go through it pretty quick. But see, there's Black Ops 4, Cold War, Black Ops 6, World at War, World War II, Vanguard, Ghost, Modern Warfare 2. There's Battlefront 2, Star Wars, Assassin's Creed, Gears of War, Doom, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Friday the 13th the game, which I played. Also, there's Bond Left 4 Dead. This is actually, I bought this for store. This one I don't have the sleeve. This is Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I got it for like $1, and it actually worked too. I played the whole thing. It was really fun, so I got a really good deal on that. But there's Left 4 Dead 2, which is kind of a cheaper game. There's Rage 2, which I preferred the first Rage. I liked it better than I did the second one. So that's all my video games. Plus, sitting on my Xbox, as you can see, there is 2 Nick Body Shakers, the Alien and the Predator. There's a Queen Xenomorph pack there, and also this figure of Turles, which I reviewed a long time ago. Which looks really cool on there. This may be the last time that you actually see it in here because, we may be moving into my grandmother's old house soon. I don't know if I'll be completely moved out there by next year when we do this. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But You know, so maybe last time you see it in this room, but I kind of hate to move because it's a lot of trouble and everything. But things in life change and everything. You just gotta deal with it, I guess. But so like I said, if you want to see some more updates, collection, how it's changed and everything, which like I said, I moved out there by then, it'd be a pretty big difference. So all that. So if you want to see some more of that, give me a thumbs up, help me out a lot, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Till next time.